Sup, people? I'm here at the Guitar Show Italy, and I'm back at Manne Guitars. Back means I'm back at Manne. Oh, no, it's not funny. It's my no. I was here last year, and you might have seen my video, and then the nice Andrea from Andrea, that's how you have to say it because we're in frickin' Italy, he said, hey, I like your video, come back. And I said, okay, you got new shit? Because we're not making the same frickin' video again because we already did it. And then he said, sure, I got new shit. I mean, he didn't say it that way. He's a little bit more eloquent with his words. But he pretty much said, we got the new shit there. That's what he said. Oh my God, that's so offensive. But you know what? Hey, that's the channel. Look, and if Andrea doesn't fucking like it, then why did he invite me back? Because he knows I'm going to be offensive. No. So Manne Guitars, you know and you love because they are fucked up when it comes to the look. It is unique. It is different. It is not your Strat. It is not your Tele. And when you think, oh, that's modern, no, it's fucking not, because he actually designed these in the 80s when you guys were pooping your freaking diapers. Or weren't alive, exactly. So Manne is, I love the simplistic similitude. Nothing in the fretboard here. I mean, freaking look at these tune skis being, like diving, recessed is the word, in the headstock. This is actually really light, super, utterly simple guitar with beautiful lines. Freaking teta de guitarra, as they say in Spain. That's a guitar tit. I don't know what the deal with the blue one is up here. I have no idea. I'm gonna have to read. Cordofono composti concorda parle. I have no idea. That's a freaky deaky language I don't speak. It could mean this is a guitar built for a princess who turned into a cow because she ate too many peas. What the fuck do I know? But it's cool. It's absolutely beautiful. On a wooden board, but that's not why we're here. So Andrea said, come, because Daniele is going to be here. And I'm like, what does that mean? Well, he designed a thing with me, something about a multi. And then I was already like looking at a bird and I wasn't paying attention anymore. I said, I'll figure it out when I get to the booth, which is literally what we're doing here. So that's why we got Daniele over here.
Hello.
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 This video is already weird, right?
Yes, we are gonna try to make it weirder if it's possible.
Oh wow! Okay. This is difficult, but if you can make this even weirder, I'm fully with you. So you designed not a guitar, you designed a bass with Andrea.
Yeah, the starting point was this bass over here, which is
already freaking weird.
Which is a peculiar one for sure. So this is
short scale,
31 inches, tuned E, A, D, G, C, F. So basically it's a 4-string plus 2 strings on top. Can be tuned regularly.
Wait a second, let me check something. Give me this hand.
Yep.
Give me this hand.
Yep.
You have, for your size, you have rather big hands.
Well.
Because I'm thinking, why do you want a short scale? Because you have small hands?
No. The short scale thing is actually, I've been playing 6-string basses for about 30 years. So I'm trying to find a way to enhance every single register of the instrument and make it compatible with, we know the electric bass sounds well in soul, funk, pop, R&B and blah, 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 blah. There are some issues when you try to blend it in more kind of chamber-like ensembles, acoustic environments, maybe ethnic instruments can be a bit overpowering in certain settings. So I try to find a way to EQ the instrument, starting from a factor which I think is very significant, the scale length. So when I go to 31, which is unusual for a 6-string bass, it's very typical on 4-string basses, you get a pretty interesting result from a sonic perspective in terms of EQ. You can blend very well in a lot of different settings.
And in those settings, obviously what you want, leave this here for a second, obviously what you want is also a woodiness, which means this has a piezo.
Yeah.
So you have a neck pickup only, and you have a piezo, and that being blended very likely gives you a very upright, bassy sound, right?
Yeah, more than upright, my goal is a lute, a oud, a sitar, a sarod, a classical flamenco guitar. It's getting weirder, you see?
Yeah. So freaky deaky shit!
So that's the main point. So
let's make an electric bass blend well with an oud. That's a sentence I thought I would never fucking say.
Yeah, not only blending with an oud, but that somehow can contain the textures of all those beautiful siblings in the guitar families.
Contain the texture, so not just blend, but also sound like it. Not like it, but have some of those.
If you look at these, you see a Japanese shamisen, you see a oud, you see a classical guitar. It's the same concept, but if you use certain technologies, let's say a bass pickup or a bass kind of strings, a certain amp is gonna sound in a certain way.
Did you? I gotta ask. Well, I gotta ask a couple of things before we actually get to the other. This is gonna be a long video. People, stay with me because I'm really fucking interested now. First of all, what's this?
Okay, this is a prototype. So this used to have a three-way switch, blade switch, like a Strat switch.
You just covered it.
I covered it. 3 switches, mini switches over here. Now they are over here. So this is just a prototype. And what was happening was magnetic, piezo, 3-way switch, separate output for magnetic and piezo. Therefore, when I switch pickups, I also switch signal chain.
Okay,
routed into 2 different kinds of
makes total sense. Well, they covered the holes, which also covered my question. Get it? So, but I see this is a Nordstrand. Did you work with Kerry Nordstrand on maybe tuning this pickup specifically for your bass, or is this a standard off-the-rack Nordstrand?
This is a standard Zen blade. I think it's a beautiful one. It behaves as compressed, doesn't sound as compressed, but behaves very firm in the mix. This behaves as opposite, extremely dynamic. So when you blend them, if I play softly, the piezo is gonna sink, the magnetic is gonna stay up. If I hit harder, the transient of the piezo are gonna bite, because this is extremely dynamic. So they are meant to be as far as possible.
Because I think, knowing Kerry is a really good friend of mine. We worked together for a long time when I lived in California. And Kerry is a sound wizard, okay? If you tell him the challenge of what you're trying to achieve, I'm thinking he has a couple of sleepless nights. He might actually come up with a pickup that's even more suited to your needs than what you already have.
It could be, but I must say this one, which is the Zen blade, is absolutely perfect.
Did you hear that, Kerry? Your pickup's already perfect. What do I know?
But yeah, and I relate to what you said, yes.
He's a great guy. So this is the prototype. Wait, short scale, but it is not a low B, right?
This one, which is absolutely identical in terms of scale length, is tuned traditionally with a low B.
But this is a low E?
A low E. E, A, D, G, C, F.
So it's a 4-string bass right there, normal 4-string bass with 2 higher strings, because them frickin' bass players can't leave us guitar players alone, and they got a fucking fiddle up around there, getting all up in our business. I don't like you. You know, you're trying to get into my territory, mister.
You're right. There's another interesting thing, the 28 frets.
28 frets? What is wrong with you? That's where I play. That's where I make my money.
There's a concept. Basically, since this is an F string, 28th fret means a major third above the 24th. This is an A. On a classical guitar, your higher note will be a B. So basically, I'm having the whole register of a classical guitar on a short scale instrument, plus the whole register of an electric bass on a short scale.
Yeah, classical guitar players also want to make money, and now you're taking their jobs away.
I think this can be interesting for guitarists as well. One more reason to check out the instrument, because if you are a guitarist and you want to venture into the lower territory, you have the whole register of a guitar.
Well, I'm a guitar player who wants to venture into the lower territories. I just play freaking bass. I have loads of basses. One of my favorite basses is actually A6 string, extra long scale fretless, with an ultra wide fretboard from Magnus Guitars, Magnus Krempel from Germany. One of my favorite instruments. Can't play it right now because the bridge is messed up, and getting a replacement 6-string bridge is difficult. I actually have, thank you Valiant Guitars, in Ukraine making one handmade out of bell brass. Sadly, at the moment, Ukraine is a little bit of an issue in terms of getting things out and also making bridges. They have other issues. So I'm totally fine with waiting for my 6-string bass bridge. Thank you, Igor. But no, I love 6-string basses.
Extra detail. Volume, blend, tone control for the magnetic, tone control for the piezo, which means I can blend a dark magnetic with a bright piezo. And parallel series for this, double condenser option for this, so two different responses of the tone control on the piezo, and a contact lo-fi piezo button in the neck.
Contact, okay, so you would hear...
As if you put your ears on the thing.
And this is also a wooden bridge?
No, this is a graphite, it's a carbon fiber bridge as the fretboard of the instruments.
All obviously totally off the rack, off the shelf, that you can buy at any local guitar store. So this is the same thing, but tuned, also short scale, but tuned to regular 6-string. Okay, so B-E-A-D-G-C, all the same stuff, but of course the next iteration without the switch holes.
Yeah, just a blend and one tone control.
And now we get to... What are you doing in my business again, Daniele? We're getting to this. When I saw the picture that Andrea sent me, I was like, oh yeah, okay, another 8-string gent bullshit thing. Nobody needs that, low interval limits my ass. But then I look at him like, wait a second. There's only one pickup, and it's a neck pickup. This guy doesn't play gent. This guy doesn't do high gain anything. This guy, what is this?
Okay, so basically I got into 8-string guitar because of the recent trend, and there are a lot of bands I appreciate which use 8-string guitar.
Like?
Meshuggah, first and foremost, for sure. I mean, I am a big fan. And Animals as Leaders, of course, and others. And I got interested in the venturing in my territory.
You know, when I met Tosin Abazi, my first thing to him ever was, do you know there's something called low interval limits?
Right.
And he was like, no.
Well,
that was his... No, I don't know this. What is this? He doesn't know.
Yeah, of course. Actually, that mistake, so to speak, venturing into those territories are creating new sounds. So it's a very interesting kind of sonic playground as well. They are venturing into.
That's a way to put it. Play an interval that actually doesn't physically work. Sonic playground.
Well, you can think in terms of sonic sculptures in a way. So you are not worrying about theoretical clashes there.
Now with Meshuggah, it is different because Meshuggah is a rhythm machine where whatever pitch they're playing, who really knows? Yes. It's a rhythmic idea. I get that. Animals as Leaders, there's a lot of stuff happening, and I'm always thinking, first of all, very fast lines in the low register is a problem because the notes tend to take more time to develop, and that means the faster you play, you don't really perceive it as a note at their speed, and then also a lot of stuff low and someone else plays low. If you're not careful, you are running into notes that clash.
Yeah, it's a very delicate territory, for sure. But I believe there's something quite interesting in the instrument, obviously, because when I checked out the way they were tuning, I see they were venturing into the low E. I thought the same thing you are thinking when you look at my instrument. These people are coming into my area, so things are overlapping, start to be interesting. At least I want to inquire. Because I'm interested in scale lengths, I thought I need to take a look at this. So what I did basically, as I mentioned earlier, I tuned E, A, D, G, and then 2 strings on top. So I thought, what if I get an 8-string guitar, E, A, D, G, C, F, and then B flat, E flat. This is just because I think in terms of perfect fourths. So I don't wanna, instead of having a guitar tuning for the upper 6 strings and then tune however for the two lows, B, F sharp or B and E or whatever other drop tuning, I'm looking at it from the bottom. So this is a bass, E, A, D, G, C, F, B flat, E flat, because I keep the logic in perfect fourth.
Sure, I'm just like, you talked about Meshuggah, you talked about analog leaders, but then I see no bridge pickup, so you're not treating this like a high-gain instrument.
I'm a fan of Meshuggah, but I aesthetically have nothing to do.
This wouldn't be what you play with this.
Not at all.
This is more of a clean platform.
Yeah, the idea, this is a Mama pickup. What I've asked them is give me the possibility to use this pickup as a kind of a modern PAF, but if I shut the tone control off, I want it to sound like a fat bass on the low. So that's what they did. Sounds beautiful. And then the same piezo pickup I'm using on all the other instruments. So you can think of it as maybe as a semi-acoustic, jazzish or experimental extended range instrument.
Now, coming from a bass where traditionally there's more single note stuff happening, and I think you probably throw that right out the window and you play chords, the fucker. How much are you treating this as a harmony instrument, and how much are you treating this as a single note accompanying instrument?
Well, for me, this is truly an experiment. I'm actually having problems with this instrument because I need to adjust to the spacing. Mm-hmm. So I'm still in that stage. But my idea is to look at it as the extension of what I've been doing for 30 years on the 6-string bass, taking advantage of having the same notes I used to have at the end of a neck, having them in other regions with longer portion of vibration.
Always fiddling up here must be a pain. So now you can actually get those high notes in a different way. So you're treating it like what you would do on the bass, but now you have a higher register.
Yes, there is an inspiration that comes from Indian music. Well, musicians use every single string as an instrument. So they don't think vertically, they think horizontally. They will play melodically on one string, and the change of string is a change of statement, is a change of texture, is a change of register. And so that's the logic in here as well. I'm trying to expand that concept.
Now, I would love, we don't have an amp here. I would absolutely love to hear you play this and see what you're doing with it, because unless we know the music, it's all theory and it's all bullshit. Make frickin' music, people. We talked about music, we talked about your approach. As a reviewer, let me put my reviewer hat on. Why are there no frickin' locking tuners on it?
Oh, I left this to Andrea.
Andrea, come here. Why? What are you doing? Why no locking tuners?
Why no?
Why no locking tuners?
Because you don't have a vibrato, so you don't need it.
Changing strings is a lot faster with locking tuners.
Okay, in this millennium probably, but okay. I'm an old school guy.
In this millennium, probably. I love this guy. Okay, your excuse, thank you, that was a good answer. You're too old for locking tuners.
Okay, no, it's okay, but not the strictly.
Because I see locking tuners on the other instruments.
But because there is vibrato.
Yeah, but when I change strings, I don't want to go...
You don't need it. If you properly install them, it's not...
So, what he just subtly did is say, Henning, you don't know what the fuck you're doing. Okay, that's what he did.
With these locking tuners, without vibrato,
Locking tuners belong on every modern guitar.
if you request them.
That's all I'm saying. Okay, he's a bass player. He doesn't even know locking tuners exist because basses simply don't have them.
The coldest night of my life, I feel let down. It's no surprise, this Hollywood you never showed. There's an empty seat next to me, 6:30. She's late, it seems. The coffee's cold, it's no surprise, this Hollywood you never showed. I held my breath just for you. In Hollywood, she's invisible tonight. I held my breath just for you. But you don't care, you don't exist. Good night. It's 8 o'clock, I'm getting late. My hopes were high, I need a change. I thought of you for 6 months straight. This Hollywood you never showed.